engine builders, they're so important to us. We work with a lot of them and we'll work with a lot more. It was a development opportunity from scratch that kind of came from a friendship. If I never went to Drag and Drive, I never probably would have met
Guys, welcome to episode 117 of the Drag Drive Repeat show presented by Summit Racing. Tonight, Nolan wanted me to ask about you almost getting in a fight with some famous metal artist back in the 80s. What is the story here?
That's all hearsay. I can't say. I grew up in Northern California in the 80s. A lot of bands in the area, Metallica, started there, Megadeth, Faith No More, all that, and I had the privilege of growing up in that. And they make fun of me because they think they don't like my music, But it could be a band that starts with the letter M, a big one.
Nice. Well, hey, you had to get in there, and I can only imagine that story. We'll tell that story when we're together next.
I'll choke Nolan tomorrow.
That's awesome. Well, dude, tell us. You kind of gave a little bit of that earlier about the why you like Drag and Drive, but man, let's dig down. What's your draw? Like, you don't have to go to these events. You don't have to put in 7 or 9 days worth of travel and doing all that stuff. But why do you yourself like to go to these events?
They're fun. I mean, one, I aspire to do it. Okay, I've threatened to do it for years and years, but they're fun, and I have seen okay, 666. I'll be fully honest tonight. 666 almost killed me. Oh man, it's far, it's long. I got sick off track food somewhere, but then I look back at the stuff I saw, like Cadillac Ranch, all this stuff along the way. It's fun. I very much admire the people that do it. I mean that in the way of, the way they help each other out. When you're on the side of the road and then you see 3 cars backed up, everybody, trying to help. And, I always thought that was really cool. I like that. But I like that we're in Drag and Drive and we're a part of Drag and Drive basically because it's cool. Think of the tracks that I've gotten to go to, I maybe would never have gone to, other than, if we just did the stuff that we do, I'd be at all the big NHR tracks, Joliet, and they're great. Don't get me wrong, but like Mocan, I was looking at, and some of them I've not, Ugly, I was just reading about it the other day. I'm like, it's so cool. Same family has owned this track for whatever. And
60-something years. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I think that's good for racing, right? To come to this track that we do need to save our tracks. I mean, I'm in Memphis. We don't have a track anymore. You guys, you know what I mean? And so for some of these smaller communities, I think that's really important. But that's why I like doing it. It gets me out of here. So I am technically working. I'm in an environment where I can learn more about what our oils can and can't do than anywhere else. But man, I've gotten to see, just in these last few years, I've seen some pretty cool stuff. And I've been in Michigan. I go up to see Steve Morse from time to time. He's about as far north as I've been. But along the way, I didn't know there was beaches and sand dunes in northern Michigan, right? And they're beautiful. They're really cool. And then you look at, I've never been to Mackinac and all that. So this gives me an opportunity to not only get out and see the people I've become friends with and be part of motorsports, which I love, but to actually have this great experience. And I think that's what the draw is. And of course, the racing. I mean, you see some pretty fast times and the engineering that goes into some of these cars and these things that these guys have built. You just see cool stuff. I mean, I have my beater C6 Corvette that I always talk about. It's been stolen. It's been broken into 50 times. It's been hit by a semi twice, but I keep putting it back together and it's kind of my daily and it's kind of not. But, I was there one time and I saw the guy with the C6 that he put the roof rack on it, put his tires on. And I'm like, that's awesome, and so you just see a lot of cool stuff like that. And I think that's why. I mean, what could be funner than going out and doing something like this? And like I said, I keep threatening one of these days I'll actually run one, but I think I'll probably end up just working them. But yeah, I think that's why. And not that anything going fast in engine and power is fun, but there's an adventure attached to it, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the street side of it that Yep, I agree. Pretty exciting. And then Performer Built Transmissions, y'all. This one is a good one because I'm excited about these guys. We're going to be up there here momentarily. So, Mr. Eric, if you want to read that in there, we'll do it.
Absolutely. Performabuilt is the official transmission builder of Drag Drive Repeat. At Performabuilt Transmissions, the goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performabuilt doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and to achieve the highest levels of performance. That is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they are performabuilt.
I agree.
Well, we got another must ask question from Nolan. So
Why is no one even involved in this thing?
he said, we have to ask you about the journey entering the world of Drag and Drive.
The journey entering the world of Drag and Drive. Yeah, that's. Sorry, Nolan. I can't help you there, buddy.
I would imagine it would go back to kind of the last segment where you're telling, the difference in being at different tracks every day, and then maybe there's some story about getting all involved there. Well, I want to talk about the Steve Morris oil development.
Mhm.
Walk us through how that happens, because there's a lot of engine builders. You and I've had this conversation.
Mhm.
There's a lot of that goes on out there. Steve Morris, obviously one of the most, he's out there a lot. He's putting
Yeah.
stuff in the world. So one, what makes his oil different? And then two, how nerdy did you guys get?
Oh man, it's nerd level times two. So how it happened is I met Steve and Steve and I just, we started kind of busting each other a lot. I call him S'mores and, whatever. And I just really like Steve. Steve's always been very cool to me and
Mhm.
we got along pretty good. And then one day he goes, I want my own oil. And I'm like, well, okay, all right, that's what I do. So why don't we? It was literally that was
That's
all that
awesome.
went into it. And then I started saying, okay, well, tell me about your engines. He runs high bearing clearances, big bearing clearances. A lot of guys in Drag and Drive are running heavy monogrades, and that's great till it's sick week and it's in Florida and it's 35 degrees in the morning when you're going out and firing up your car. And so, I guess working with Steve and Steve has taught me a lot. And this is where I go back to, I can formulate an oil. I know what the parts of the oil do. That's what I do. But I need feedback for people to tell me, all right, well, this is a problem we're experiencing. This isn't lubricating right. This isn't whatever. So I rely on other people for some of that feedback. Steve's engines have a unique, they're his engines, right? He's machining the blocks. He's doing all that. So it was an opportunity to work on a project where I could say, in this application, what do we need and what we don't need? And through Steve and talking and looking at stuff, we've been able to prove, but it also what led to a heavy, not a 70 weight monograde, but a 25 W60 oil that can kind of handle the drive and the drag. And so I've nerded it up pretty good. And the nice thing too about Steve was it was like I could do whatever I wanted. It's like I could work kind of on the oil that I would make, right?
Mhm.
Which really all driven oils are. But this one was, honestly, at first I thought he'd be the only one that would ever use it. Like I didn't, I just thought, oh, here you go, Steve. I made this. But as we worked on it and developed it, it's like, wow, this is good. And people are now hearing about it in other kinds of motorsports. Like I know we're supposed to stay on Drag and Drive, but there's these guys that race BMWs that have to run this 60 weight oil they can't find. Well, this one will work. So they're going to probably be running some oil, Steve Morris oil, and they're, whatever. And so that was kind of a really cool thing. But that's how it became. Is it literally, I don't remember what Drag and Drive it was. It could have been summer or 2 years ago, whatever. He just said, I want my own oil. And I said, well, let's work on one. And it was just cool the way, it all developed. And, and then of course, I got it and he's running it. And, Steve likes to go, okay, let's put it in, let's go. And I'm like, hold on. We got to test. We got to do this. We got to, I got to try to pull him back a little bit. But that's probably where we're a good fit, because I'm a lot more conservative maybe than he is on, he'll run it. He'll want to test it. And that's what I need. And so that's worked. And the development has been really fun. And then he decided he wanted, then he's like, we're almost ready to come. He's like, I want it to be blue. And I'm like, wait, blue? Like blue. So I had to dye it blue and work on the dye for, to get it the right color. But it's been a really, really, really fun thing that we're doing. And it's pretty close to being ready. He's going to run some more and I'm going to get some more data, but I think we're finally tweaked where it is. And I'm proud of it. And like I said, and it's funny, a lot of other guys that, it's one of those things. I don't think you just have to have a SMX or a Steve Morris engine to run it. It's going to run in other applications as well. But the testing, the development that went into it is how we can prove it out. And that's a unique opportunity for me to have that side of it from the guy building it, not only building the engine, but the parts. Engine builders, man, they are so important to us. And, we work with a lot of them, and we'll work with a lot more, always. But it was a development opportunity from scratch that kind of came from a friendship, which if I never went to Drag and Drive, I never probably would have met Steve. So.
Yeah, I try and explain that to people everywhere. Like, Drag and Drive is so important because it's such a small community, but we're so tight. Like the folks that come to these events and the folks that support the community, man, it goes a long way, because this will be a big sport. Like this will be a big motorsport. There's no way it can't be.
It will. And, like I said, it comes back to, I formulated oil. That's what I do. I'm an oil guy. And then I'm kind of running driven and, marketing and social media, all these things. I didn't know how to do any of them. And, I met Tom Bailey. If you remember the drag, it might've been like the drag week where Steve and Tom are running it, and Steve had to pull his motor apart in the Holiday Inn parking lot. And all those people were standing around. Well, then here's a story. The night before, I ended up at some weird Holiday Inn that somebody here booked for me. I don't even know. It was like somebody made a mistake. I was way away from where I needed to be. Like, there was usually in Drag and Drive, you pull in, there's a guy over there. There was nobody. But Tom Bailey and Steve Morris were in that same weird hotel. So it was us, me and Kirk McIntyre from Driven, and them. And we just started talking in the parking lot. And that's when, Tom just said, hey, you should be with us. And he did it in his typical way where, hey, you should work with us. You'll be glad you did. And I went, well, okay. And that was it. And we started, and it's been really good for us. But those kind of things can only happen in environments like that, and I guess when you go back to it, why is Drag and Drive great? Well, you could just be hanging out in the parking lot of a hotel. You don't know who you're going to meet and who you're going to talk to. And, I'm not you guys, as far as you guys get hi everybody, but I just got a call from a magazine, a very well-respected racing magazine that comes out of England. They do mostly just really high-end Formula One stuff and all that. Yeah. And they sent me out and they said, hey, will you help us write an article about Drag and Drive? And I'm like, I guess. Like I said, I've never done it. I just go to them. But that's it's a really high-end, well-respected kind of thing. And so it's continuing to grow, but it's drawing interest even from not higher levels of motorsports, but what you would think are, kind of bigger, more dollar kind of stuff. And that's awesome. Been cool to watch that happen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Everybody, the Swedish guys, that street, they want us to come out there. I guess we're getting popular out there, and
yes,
you got to come out to Sweet Week. So, and I got to go, and so it's like, what?
You need help,
right? These are the problems I have. I have to go to. I got to go out to Street Week Sweden, but hey,
you'll love that.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
super cool area too.
Yeah,
and really cool cars, dude. There were so many cars in the fours over there, and two of the racetracks were airports.
Yeah. I didn't know, hot rodding in Sweden is huge. Just 50s hot rodding culture. I didn't know.
Super cool. Give us a couple stories of how you've either helped people or saved people while being on a Drag and Drive event.
Boy, I wish I knew this guy's name. We had this guy come up. This is my favorite one. And he came up and he said, I have stripper glitter in my oil. I'll never forget this. And I went, stripper glitter? And he said, yeah, I just drained my oil and it's full of glitter. And I said, well, where is this oil? Go get it. So he comes back with a drain pan, and it was, I guess you call it stripper glitter. And I looked at it and I said, well, what kind of oil is this? And he said, oh, no, I just got it at O'Reilly's. This is my first Drag and Drive. I just really, really want to finish. And I'm looking in this oil pan going, you're not probably going to finish, but all right. And I said, well, there's a couple of things we can do, but I don't know if they're going to work. So I gave him 2 cases of oil, had him flush the motor, had him change the filter. I gave him 3 filters. I wish if you're watching, please, you know who you are. I lost touch with him after the event, and then we ran GP1 and I did a pretty heavy vis in it. Cause when you're at that point, the motor's going to go, it's going to go. So you're just trying
Mm-hmm.
to get it through. And he actually did get through. And
That's awesome.
it was kind of maybe similar to that Cletus story, but it was a series of, and then the next day you got to flush it, you got to drain it. I kept giving him the oil because I was rooting for him. I wanted him to see him, you know, and he backed out, and it ended up being a input shaft on his turbo. That's where it was all coming from.
Oh wow!
But you know, we got him through, and then we had another guy that was running. That was which one was it? It was 66, and he was, you know, I don't know if he was like doing drag and drive or if he was more doing the sick driving it, but he had a Mustang and he lost ring seal. I don't think he broke the motor in properly, and he was kind of bummed. He was afraid he wasn't going to make it, and so I said, well, let's break the motor in again. We got nothing to lose. We had some break-in oil, so we ran it back through the break-in procedure, got him ring seal back, switched him over to GP1, and he made it. So, you know, those are things that are cool for me to be a part of and try to help. You know, more goes into it maybe than I just explained, but you know, we're kind of always that way. The owners, Scooter and Ron, own the company. Hopefully they're not watching, but generally if a guy comes up and he's a pinch and he needs a quart or something to get through, we'll throw it at him. You know, come on, just give it to him. And we try to do that when, you know, we can.
Yeah, that 1 quart that you gave probably has sold, you know, 10x.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not a big, you know, it's not the end of the world to us, but like I said, sometimes drag and drive is expensive, and when they're out there, yeah, that's their vacation. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing I've come to realize is we have to, as a vendor, like anybody who comes up to our booth, we got to show them time, we got to show them respect, and we got to talk to them because they spent a lot of money to be doing this. Even if they just, you know, one of the things I've noticed is the spectator counts grow. Like not just, you know, the guys that are running, I say a drag and drive, but the people that come up to our tent or our booth or whatever that just took the day off work and came down here and they just want to check it out because they're thinking about doing it. And that's, you know, expensive, like, you know, to do. And, you know, all taking a family of 4 out to do, you know, a race or a drag race is pretty expensive. And I've always stopped and said, man, we owe these people the respect of giving them the time. You know, coming and talking to a guy about oil, that may not, you know, change your world or your life, but they pay to get in there. They pay to run this event. Let's make sure we're there and we're engaging with them and literally trying to help them out and make the right choice. And that's, I think that's really important. So a quart of oil, you know, now I said that, don't come to my booth trying to get all this free oil. I still have to, but I mean, it's so, you know, it's weird. You can tell the guy that a quart of oil is going to make or break his day based on what he's been through, what he's going through. And if I see that guy, I'll help him out.
That's awesome. And, you know, while you're on the topic of spectators and people coming up to the booth, dude, let's talk about the events you got coming up this next week, like literally next week. I want to know who's working Michigan Miles, man. Who's going to be there? I guess you are.
I'm going to be Michigan Miles with Ashley. Kirk is with Ken up at Carlisle, PA, the Corvette deal. It's Carlisle, PA is big. Robin and Jeff are going to Havlicks.
Awesome.
Michael's got Nitro Chaos somewhere. He races in it too. You know, he got
that weekend. It's that same weekend, isn't it, Eric?
Yeah, he got a pretty smoking deal.
Iron or something like that.
He got me on that. You know what I mean? He gets to go race and work. But so he's got that. And then we have Texas versus the World, which is the big Air Cool VW thing. We have the Ohana Reunion in Medford, Ohio. We have, honestly, there's so many of them that you get to a point here where, like, just tell me, where do I have to be? I just want to know where I have to be to plant my mud. And, you know, and then they keep going because then we'll have, 6 Smokies. We'll have the granddaddy of them all. Don't forget, guys, PRI. PRI is, man, it's going to be here before you know it.
4 months.
We're not ready. I'm not ready.
Yeah, we're getting ready for PRI. We're 6 Smokies, import domestic world finals. I mean, there's there's just so many. And it's weird, but in July you have like that lull. And I always say it's because it's so hot, nobody wants to do anything. And then so now we're just about to get spun up again. But I don't know, I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, there's a bunch of them coming. Just always follow our social media. We try to do the best job as we can of getting that stuff out. Sometimes it's like, hey, did somebody post we're here? No, do it now.
Yeah,
But
right.
we're not.
Hey,
We're oil and car guys. We're not. Well,
yeah.
you know.
Well, and what's funny is how many photos and videos of cars are on your phone that
Oh
have
my
never
God.
been posted.
That have never been posted, a ton. An
Yeah.
absolute ton. And video. When you get to be, here's the thing. I'm over 50. At 50, you kind of just give up. You go, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I took
You
a
stopped
video.
at a certain
Yeah,
level. Yeah.
it's like, and my dad did it. My grandfather, I mean, this is what we do.
Yeah.
But the other day, I did a really good interview with Brett LaSala that I never posted for like 2 years ago that I found on my phone like a week ago. And I'm like, well, I can't post it now.
What?
Throwback
Yeah,
Thursday. Of course you can.
Yeah, Throwback
I mean,
Thursday. Yeah. Hey,
Goldstone,
Nolan.
and
I
I
know
love
Nolan's
Goldstone on
watching.
here.
We need to see that Brett LaSala video from 2 years ago.
Oh man, there's so many of because I got in real big in trying to do videos. I'm going to interview you, right? And it's I'm so bad, it's so dumb. I'm like, so why are you doing this? And I'm like, well, that was a dumb question. I'm not that guy. I'm just not. But I am. I do really want to do an interview. I've tried to do a good interview with Goldstone for like 2 years now. You know what I mean? And
Write it off, dude.
no, I'm gonna get it. I am
Yeah.
gonna get it. And well, maybe the guys can get it. I think he's gonna be a Havlicks, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Goldstone is awesome. The key to him is like he doesn't need to be serious. Like when that
Yeah.
camera comes out, he's like, he is giving an interview. You know what I mean? But like when that camera is down and away, he's hilarious. He's joking,
he
he's
is.
trash talking, all that kind of stuff the whole time.
Yeah,
So we're finally seeing some of that come out of him.
yeah, no, you do. He's a good dude. I love
Yeah.
hanging out with him, and he was eating my yogurt, which was he kept coming in the booth and take. I like this expensive yogurt because it's a ton of protein, and he kept taking my yogurt, and it was he kept in. But I was sitting there and he's eating my yogurt in my chair. And James from Cletus's group was like doing this. Come here, I need to talk to you. And Ashley was over talking to somebody else. And I'm like, Goldstone, you're going to eat my yogurt. You're going to watch our booth while I'm gone. If somebody comes up here, you're going to answer their questions. I got to go. Because, sometimes it happens. Yeah. And what am I going to do? I said, just whatever. And I don't know if it's true. And I don't know if he's listening. But I guess some guy walked up and said, hey, is this pretty good? And Goldstone just looked at him and said, well, I run it. Look at me.
That sounds about right too.
And I didn't know if that was true. One of the other guys standing there told me that, but no,
awesome.
I love Goldstone. When I first had to go introduce myself to him, I was like, he's kind of, I was intimidated, but whatever. But then you get to know him, man. Yeah. He's just such a good dude, and I like him a lot, and he's good at it, man. He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
And you gotta respect him. But one of my favorite people. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah, he is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, what else do we need to know from Bill?
I don't know. I think we covered most of it.
Man, what have we forgotten to ask you, Bill? There's some. We're gonna end this, and we're gonna be like, oh man.
Guys, it's just us. Let's not. No, I'll end it this way. I'll say thanks to everybody who supported us out there. Like I said, we really, truly appreciate it. Michigan Miles, please come see us. To me, it's kind of a big deal. It makes us kind of feel cool that we're the title sponsor of it. It's, it's a big deal. We're just going to go out and have, a good time. We did send out an email because of our limited transportation situation and stuff. I'm not going to be carrying as much oil as we typically would. Right. So if you need oil, call us and we'll try to get it to you. I mean, we'll have oil for emergencies and stuff like that. But, I have a little Airstream, like 16 footer. And, man, by the time I get my stuff in there, I don't have much. So, but we're going to go out and have a good time. And if we've never met, hey, please come by and just say hello. I'd like to meet you. But yeah, Michigan Miles, I'm pretty excited. It's going to be cool. So,
well, and dude, Ubley Dragway is awesome.
I know.
It has like that feel of Mocan. Is
okay.
The kind of feel I got when we were there with Heads Up Hustle. Mid-Michigan Motorplex, primo stuff, dude. I love that track. It's so.
Is it like George Ray's Wildcat drag strip?
Ubley is a little bit like George Ray's. You kind of get a little bit of that feel. Like quarter mile at Ubley would be sketchy. Eighth mile at Ubley, no problem. They full concrete pour, all that kind of stuff. But quarter mile at Ubley could be pretty interesting.
I mean, I've been to Milan. What about to Milan? What about, have you been to the other ones like North Michigan and them?
I hadn't been to North Michigan, but like Mid Michigan Motorplex, dude, wait till you see that. I don't know what they do different with the grass up there, but it's gorgeous.
Is it?
And so there, but the North Michigan thing, I'm interested to see photos of that. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I'm going back to it. That's the cool thing about Dragon Drives. These are tracks I may never get to ever see, you know?
Right.
And
Yep.
and I love drag strips. I love tracks. It's just cool to go, especially to see one and think about generations of guys just racing there back in the day. And yeah, it'll be cool.
Well, and Eric and I say it all the time, like it gives you a reason to go to tracks you would never have a reason to go to. You know,
Yeah.
and we're seeing that with a lot of like veteran Dragon Drive racers. They're like choosing to go to a Dragon Drive that's a long way from their house because they're getting a chance to visit new tracks and see new people and meet new race car friends and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I said, that's the best part of it. So
sweet. All right, well, let's put you backstage and then hang out with us for just a minute.
Oh, I get to hang out backstage. Hey, as a guest, do I have like just the M&Ms, the green M&Ms I requested? And do I get any of the? Do I get any of the amenities or what?
Well, it was yellow on the rider. It was yellow. That was Nolan said that you only liked yellow.
You guys are following the instructions.
All right, thanks, man. We appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, man. See you.
Awesome, dude. How much fun was that? That guy's so smart, man.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. He's always a good time to talk to.
Yeah, he is a blast, and I can't wait for everybody to hang out with him at Michigan Miles. I can't wait to hang out with Jeff. Jeff was the one that came to the circuit 2025, so we're gonna get to spend some more time with him at Havlicks, and of course, Robin is awesome. If you guys don't know this, Robin is like the de facto model on the Driven Racing Oil Facebook page. So go over, make fun of him doing that when you see him this next weekend at Havlicks.
Yeah, everybody that we've ever interacted with at Driven has been super awesome.
Yeah, that is for sure. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for being a race car friend. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Thank you for the comments, man. It was pretty cool. Everybody in here asking questions, making comments, stuff like that. Appreciate that for them. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're at right now. And then, of course, our sponsors, can't do this without them. It's always fun having a sponsor on to talk about some of the nerdy stuff that goes on behind the scenes and tell fun stories and just give you guys a chance to meet them so you know who you're looking at whenever you're out at the events. So Summit Racing, we appreciate them a whole bunch. They're out at Reno this week. They'll be at Drag Week for sure. Thanks so much to Deechworks. We got to hang out with them when we were at Mega Week. We stopped by there. Molly Motorsports, who's we've hung out with a bunch at different events. Driven Racing, well, Bill was on tonight, and then we're getting to see them at Hot Rods by Havlik, Fastest Streetcar Shootout next weekend, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, WAF Racing, Power Tube TV, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds. Y'all, if you're shopping, hit these folks up, see if there's something they got for you. We would appreciate it a whole lot, and we'll see you guys Saturday morning when we have Jacob on from the I-57 Dragon Drive. And man, we're going to be Saturday morning. It's going to be crazy. It truly is going to be a very fast-paced show. I'm already making notes for it and all the stuff that's coming up for Dragon Drive. So see you guys.
All right. Thank you. See you Saturday.
Yeah. Awesome.